Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Alconin. Welcome to Friday's Triple Witch edition of Pre-Market Info.
Triple Witch Edition. The market's bouncing back a little bit here this morning. We're up 8 S&P futures points. Joel, you think this rally can hold?
These are interesting bounces here. I mean, we got pounded,
Oh,
over the last 2 days. Gave back 70 handles here.
unreal.
Um, yeah, no real good resistance on the upside. You just got to use that overnight high right now, 1597 and a quarter. I mean, that's your bogey. You're 6 points away from there. So let's clear that in the first 15 minutes. Get back over that 16 handle, which we may never see again. I'd be looking to fade this market, and then coming back on the downside, you did hold the close at 84 early in the session, so 82.75, 84 should be good support levels out of the gate.
And it is option expiration Friday. We do have the futures contracts expiring as well. And often those days, the open, you'll see it skewed up a little bit. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some of this bounce might be just the fact that we are on this expiration Friday here. And I agree with you, Joel. I think this might be a rally where some people come in and fade it. And it wouldn't surprise me if we actually went back down and tested the lows there from yesterday. What was the low yesterday, just so our users know?
77 even was Thursday's low.
1577. That was the lows.
Woohoo!
I think we'll probably. I'm just what I'm thinking, but I'm thinking we're going to go down there and test that again. Obviously, that
You
needs to
do.
hold, but man, that was just an absolute massacre yesterday across the board. Because if you go to gold and silver, that was unbelievable. That's the biggest sell-off we've seen in gold since the big when I had lost when it went from 1500 to 1300 the first time. Wow, though, that was an incredible sell off. The miners themselves all breaking down and making new lows. The gold futures are bouncing here a little bit this morning. More of a little dead cat bounce here, I think, than anything. Obviously, when the futures fall, gold futures fall $70 and they bounce back 13. I don't think anybody's getting too bullish here yet.
Well, the negative thing is we did take out yesterday's low, which was
Yeah,
1275.40.
that's not good
Yeah, we
either.
did. We went down earlier in the session to 1268.70. So that they took it out by $7, but you're getting a rebound now. I think if you start to fall back into that 12, near the close, 1286.20, you might find some support there, but really not much of a bounce. Down $100 and up 7. It's just really, really ugly.
Well, and silver too. Bring up the chart on that. You want to talk about not much of a bounce. It's up 20 cents the SLV here this morning, and obviously silver lost more than lost over $2-3 here, or basically in the last $2 in the last two trading sessions. But most of those losses yesterday. So when you get a 20-cent bounce after falling $2, again, hard to get bullish the commodities here.
Right. These things they're just in a bear market. What else can you say? I mean, the news from the Fed didn't help things. The easing. Yeah. I mean, also the other thing that was really concerning about gold is when the market's getting crushed like that.
Yep.
Sometimes it acts as a safe haven,
Nope.
and they were just killing everything.
They
And they
punished Joel. They punished those people that were looking to gold for a safe haven, and that's the whole thing. Like gold is a risk asset, and lately, in the last year or two, everybody gets concerned. Oh, put me into gold. I need to be in safety. Well, now you're realizing that gold is not that safe of an asset either, and neither is silver. And it's been an incredible sell-off. And if you've been invested in gold and silver, it's been a lot of pain for you. I know I have a Barrick gold position in my investment portfolio. I try to stay diversified, try to have a little bit of exposure to the precious metals, and I did through Barrick, and I had a little bit of the SLV in my investment portfolio, and those are terrible investments for me on that side. The Barrick gold has just absolutely been killed. Just go to the Barrick before we go to the crude, because that Barrick is unbelievable. It's now $16.60. I think this is like 10 or 12-year lows for the stock, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to go back. 2008 was a low, 17.27. We took that out yesterday in Barrick, so 16.60 is where it closed. It is bouncing 30 cents here. People don't want to hear this though, but I think the path of least resistance is still down in these things, and that's a scary thought, because when you see a stock go from 20 $20 to 16.60 in 3-4 trading sessions. A natural human tendency is to want to come in and buy and pick those bottoms, and that's just it hurts more and more people, because what happens is you've got to wait. Like, don't try to just catch a falling knife like that, because stock could be at $15 tomorrow and you'd be like, why did I just do that? But it's not going to be back at 20 tomorrow, I'll tell you that. These things don't just bounce back $3-4. It might bounce back a buck, but then you have everybody that's underwater trying to get the hell out of it too. So I'm just not a big fan of these miners here, even though the prices look ridiculously cheap.
Right, 1724 was yesterday's high. We're still, good 40 cents away from that, so that'd be resistance. And if this thing could ever get back to the $18 level to fill the gap,
They'll
you had all
line up
those
to
lows.
sell that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an ugly chart, and like we've been saying for a while, you need an impetus to turn things around, and there's nothing out there.
Yeah, and NEM and Gold Corp both broke down to new 52-week lows as well. GG and NEM, the symbols on those. Wow, so it's just ugly for the miners all around there yesterday. You were going over to the crude chart there, Joel. Crude obviously had some interesting trading action yesterday. I mean, everything was selling off. There was nothing really. Like, crude didn't get beat up as much as the precious metals did, but it was trading down $3 at one point yesterday.
Right, quite the range today here in the crude contract. I mean, over a $3 range. Looking what's going on here in the pre-market trading. You're just slumping here. 94.94 is where you're trading at here, just above that. What I think is interesting here is I got to change my chart because I don't have I do not. Sorry about that, guys. Do I not have the 24-hour session here?
That's okay, Joel. We can just, not a big deal there. Well, in the chart here.
Yeah,
Joel's trying to get
this happens every once in a while.
Joel's hooking us up with some technicals. In the meantime here with the crude, again, just it was selling across the board here, and you're starting to see a little bit of follow through here from yesterday in the crude. And actually, just looking at these equities too, just to go back to the mini futures just for a second while Joel fixes his chart. We're now up only 6 points here, so we're slowly fading this rally. We were up as much as 13 just a little while ago, so this rally is not holding. I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to hold till 9:30 so we can at least open positive here, but and then. Yeah, so how's your charts, Joel? You got them figured out here
Good,
now?
I'm good to go here.
Joel's hooked up now, so moving on to the equities. Oracle reported earnings here last night. 87 cents versus 87 cents. 10.95 billion versus 11.12 billion. So in line on the bottom line, but missed on the top line. And the stock absolutely murdered after hours. Closed up at 33.21. Is now trading below $31. It has bounced from where it traded down to. What was the after hours low there, Joel?
I traded down to 30 and a quarter on the
Yeah.
initial spike, but since then has been finding support at 30.50. And actually, looking at this pre-market chart here, you got a little bit of a rally going here.
Yeah, and then you come and you see Oracle down 6.5%. You think, oh, it's getting killed, but it actually has rallied here in the last few hours since this morning, because it was a little bit worse there. If you came in and we were trading in after hours, it was trading actively in the low 30s. So now we just ticked up to 31. So a little bit of a comeback here for Oracle, but I don't think the bulls are really that happy about it still.
Yeah, if it could sneak above 31 here, I think you could have a little bit of a rally. Going back quite a ways on this chart to find support here. You did find support back in the mid-30 handle way back in November, 30.50. So I think the 30 quarter, 30 half area should be good support in this thing today. I don't think it can get it much lower than that. Coming back on the upside, use 31 as minor resistance.
You wonder if this is going to put on a little bit of pressure in the tech sector here. I know IBM actually on the Oracle earnings had started just to drift down here a bit. It's only up a dime here this morning. A lot of your other tech stocks are barely higher here, so a little bit concerning. But wow, that was a big sell-off for IBM yesterday.
Yeah, came settled just off the low of the day. That level matched the April 30th low. So you low in the close right at that area. It should act as minor support though. But I was looking at the levels on that, and below that, man,
A lot
you're
of
like
air.
skipping.
Yep.
Yeah, right down. I mean, no major support to 194.65. So sure there'll be a couple bumps and bruises along the way, but big level yesterday's low and close for IBM here off the open.
A couple other companies reporting. DRI reported earnings, which is Darden Restaurants. They missed $1.01 versus $1.04. I think I saw a headline go by that they were bumping the dividend. I didn't write that down, but stock is trading flat right now at 51 and a quarter. Did tick up to 52 just briefly, but looks like it's just trading right about flat.
Yeah, 50.98 was yesterday's low. Bounced off that above the close. I like that level. The 51 was the low yesterday. 51.01 was the low on April 30th. We are a quarter away from there. We also had a couple other lows right below that. So still looking at the hold the $51 level. Coming back on the upside. I had a pretty good sized range yesterday. 52.64 was yesterday's high. That's your first major resistance point, but I imagine that you'll find resistance right when you come into that nice round number of 52.
I think so too. I think you get in the high 51s, 52 area because that's where we really broke down from. If you look, we had multiple bottoms in the 52 area in May and June, and we cut through that yesterday. So I think we get back up to that area. People who are picking those bottoms would probably be really happy to lighten up their positions. KMX, which is CarMax, also reported earnings here, and that stock is flying this morning. So we have some good news, Joe. We finally found some good news. 64 cents versus 58. They beat on the bottom line. 3.31 billion versus 3.15 billion estimates on the top line. Beat on the bottom, beat on the top. Stock popping $4 here in the pre-market. Wow, that is a pop in CarMax.
Yeah, on 6,000 shares. So,
And coming into some pretty big resistance too, I
yeah.
might tell you about.
Oh, you had, well, a couple days ago we got up to 48.41. Then you also have all these highs here around the 48.70 level. So I think that's going to be major resistance. I mean, opening up, $4 on 6,000 shares right into this basically this double top at 48.30, 48.31. If it opens up at that area, it ticks up to 48.60 or 70 like that, and comes back down to that 48.30 level. That could be a slippery slope here on the downside.
We got a little analyst action here this morning. Facebook in getting upgraded by UBS here. They're upgrading it to a buy with a price target of 30. They are citing that they're going to begin selling new ways to monetize their newsfeed ads, and they're going to begin selling newsfeed video ads as well, which they think will help revenue. They also noted that Facebook must be careful not to overly disrupt their user experience. This is what I've been talking about. I think that all these ads that are coming into your news feed and that is disrupting the user experience. And the people that I know on Facebook, they are annoyed by these ads. And like I've been saying, I still think it's short-term gain for long-term pain. I think they are disrupting. I think they're turning off some of their users, which is a major issue here. So it's a balancing act for Facebook, really. They need to monetize it, obviously, somehow. They need to figure out, how to get those news ads in there, but not tick off their users and much that they just get annoyed and move away, from using Facebook. So that's the balancing act that Facebook faces here, and UBS is bullish though.
24.60 is the high that you hit in the pre-market. You had that ridiculous move a couple days ago
Yeah,
when
the two
someone bought
million
2 million shares at
fat
the
finger.
market. That snuck it back over 25. I just would see, you're giving up 60 cents here, but I still like to see this thing get back above 25. That served as support for a while. Pose a few closes above there, and then I think I could get maybe a little bit interested in the long side. But just with all the things that they've done over the last few weeks or month, I think it will have an effect on the next earnings report. So I think it's going to be interesting. They're doing all this tinkering, changing all these things, and it has to add to the bottom line. One other note on Facebook: we are 24.75 was yesterday's high. Still 30 cents away. That's your initial resistance point.
Yeah, I think this could be one of those upgrades where sellers me come in to fade it. So we'll have to see what happens though. Zynga getting downgraded by Morgan Stanley, and that stock actually is just trading flat here, $2.84. The market obviously is a little bit higher, but this not a lot of movement here in Zynga, obviously, for the last 4 or 5 trading sessions. So I don't know if you're going to see that much movement here at all. But stock is trading down a penny. You like those $2
Yeah,
stocks?
yeah, spiked down to 276 in the initial news. Now you pop back up to the 284 area. There hasn't been a lot of movement in this stock between over the last 5 sessions, between 278 and running into a wall at the 290 level. So still use that 290 as resistance here. The 276 and 278 lows that you have here coincide with the pre-market low, so I think that will serve as support as well.
Forest Laboratories, which is FRX, getting upgraded at Goldman Sachs, and they're downgrading AGN, which is Allergens. So I guess they're putting on some type of drug pair there. But going to the FRX chart, that was trading crazy there the last couple of days. There was rumors that they might make a bid for Elon. I think that's where it was popping there a little bit there 2 days ago. Obviously, the major
Yeah.
sell-off with everything yesterday. So it's been basically a 4-point range for FRX in the last 2 trading sessions.
Yeah, just keeping an eye. Yesterday's low, quite a ways away from there, 40.07. So you should find good support if we do fall back into the lower 40 handle. Coming on the upside, still 40 cents away from yesterday's high, 41.47. That'll be your first resistance point. And then, I mean, you don't see anything else except for that spike up, but I still think that 41.47, 41.50 should be pretty good resistance in this issue, despite the Goldman upgrade.
And Allergen, bring up the chart on that because that broke down to a new low on the year there yesterday at
Oof.
96.24. Chart doesn't look pretty, and actually breaking down here a little bit this morning, only on 2,700 shares with the Goldman downgrade, but it is trading down another 75 cents here at 95.51.
Yeah, it was actually trading lower than that. The pre-market low 94.51, so you're getting a nice bounce off that. Keep an eye on at 94.51 here. If we come back under the 95, looking longer term, the stock, whew, boy, I mean, looking at the weekly here, you're
Yeah,
not seeing any any major support down to
till
the
it gets
to the
down to like
beginning
90
of the year.
bucks.
Yeah, yeah, but that's on a weekly there, so there's going to be bumps and bruises, along the way. Uh, Coming back on the upside, you had all the, the weekly resistance here, just under the $97 level. So if this thing, does go in any kind of rally mode, you're looking to lighten up. 97 is going to be excellent resistance.
We talked about it earlier, but let's bring up NEM again because downgraded by UBS here. So stock breaking down new 52-week lows and multi-year lows, I believe. UBS jumping off the bandwagon here. I guess they're selling low, and maybe it goes lower. It's going a little bit lower in the pre-market. Actually, it's trading flat right now, 29.76. So because gold's bouncing a bit, downgrade puts a little bit of selling pressure. I guess that balances out to give you a flat price.
29.40 was the low from yesterday. 30 cents or so away from that. That should act as acts good support as it, when it spiked down here and made a little double bottom for a rally. So for you bottom pickers in gold again here, sure need to see it come back down, hit the 29.40, 29.50, get a little bit of a bounce, and then perhaps might just have just a little bit of a tradable rally in it. Longer term, can't see anything on the weekly. Looking on the monthly here,
Back in the credit
man,
crisis.
you're looking back in December 2008. You had a low at 26.80, so below that 27.40 level. Keep an eye out for 26.80.
Let's go to a couple of the big guns. Apple yesterday did take out that support that we had been talking about at 418. Just briefly took it out though and then bounced right back. Made a low at 415.17. It actually held up pretty well yesterday considering the market was down 350 points. Apple was only down a couple of bucks, so you had to like the relative strength in Apple, but it seems like Apple does its own thing anyways lately. It doesn't seem to move with the market at all. It just kind of does its own thing, and either way, support was breached yesterday, so I guess that's not a great sign.
Yeah, pre-market chart here. You did get a pop up to 419.85. So call that whole 419.85, 420 level to be a pretty good resistance in this. Trying to identify the support is a little bit tougher in this thing. 415.17, yesterday's low, should act as decent support. But you could see if you
Take
can't
that out.
hold that
Yeah.
415 area, you lump down to the 408 and a quarter, which was low on April 26th.
Google bouncing $4 here this morning with the overall market. That stock ticked up just to kiss 900, just over 900 yesterday.
Yesterday,
Found
I know.
sellers again though, got up to 901. Then it found sellers and just started selling it off. So today we are bouncing $4, but hard to get excited about the Goog monster here because if it's below 900, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at that thing. I had written down that, maybe try and take a shot at the weeklies as it got up near 900. And I looked and it was like 900020. And I'm like, okay. And I looked back, like 2 minutes later and it was right back down. So it was quick coming back on this. Just keep an eye on yesterday's low, 883.31 is the market seems to be selling off pretty good here yesterday. Below that 880.31. You have another minor support level at 878.28, and then major support at 874.13.
And the market is selling off pretty good right now. We are now up only 3.5 points. So this rally that we've had overnight looks to be very short-lived. Hoping it can, pop up here, but I'm not that bullish. I think, like I said, I think we're going to test yesterday's low at 1577. We're only 10 points away from there now. If we breach that, Katie bar the door, you'll probably have a lot more people nervous that we're trying to pick bottoms yesterday. So this market starts breaking down to new lows. Ooh, doesn't look good. Where's the
Yeah, look
support?
at it.
Find the support for us, Joel.
You know what? I mean, as bearish as I get sometimes, I see this 1577 low here, and then with just looking at all these lows here around the 1570 area,
Okay.
1572.75, then few points below that at 1566, you put double bottoms in. So, I think if we take out that 77 level, man, I just don't think you're going to get it much into the 1560 handle. You got all these, bottoms in here. That base that we formed in May, that should provide some temporary support.
I'm not sure. I totally agree with you, and I'm a little more bearish than you maybe, Joel. But I think if we take out 1577, I think we could lose another 1520 handles. But that's my bogey. 1577 is where I start getting bearish if that gets taken out. That's our show for today, guys. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, and we will be back with you guys on Monday.